Hey there, everybody. Pete Pardo here from Sea Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of our concert review series. We've been going out. We've been seeing some shows. I got alongside me here in the Zoom tonight, Mr. Chris Allo. What's going on, my friend?
What's going on, Pete? Good to see you again.
That's right. Good to see you. 24 hours later, Chris and
Yeah.
I headed down to New Haven, Connecticut last night to the College Street Music Hall, New Haven, Connecticut, to see the Cult, a band that I am kind of ashamed to admit I don't believe I have ever seen. I've always liked them, just for whatever reason. When they were like, kind of big in the 80s and early 90s, somehow missed seeing them and then kind of lost touch with them for many, many years. But as Chris was telling me last night, you've seen them just under 20 times. That's
Yeah,
pretty good.
yeah, just under it. I only saw them once in the 80s and I liked them, but then just kind of fell off with them and then they broke up. And then I picked up seeing them again once they first reunited in the late 90s and been seeing them consistently ever since. And they were great last night. I know I said it to you after the show. I think they are a very consistent band because they always sound good. You know, Ian Astbury's voice is still very strong considering they've been doing this, like 40 years now.
Yep.
Billy Duffy sounded great. Really the only negative was, and I didn't realize it until I even looked it up, that this was a continuation of their Sonic Temple anniversary tour, which I didn't realize I saw them do in 2019, where they're playing most of Sonic Temple. But when I saw them in 2019, they did 17 songs, and Pete and I just did a whole episode talking about set lists. And here they are now, 3 years later, same tour, but now they're down to 13 songs. And the interesting thing is it was a 3-band bill. The middle act, the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, seemed to actually play longer than the Cult.
They did. Yeah, they did. So we had 3 bands. So we had Zola Jesus first, who played about 35 minutes. They went on, I don't know, 7:15 or something like that, and they were done before 8. And that was probably one of the weirdest bands I've seen in a while.
Yeah.
So it was a 4-piece band with a female lead singer. I guess that's her, Zola Jesus. I guess her name is Zola, and she's a little bizarre. She's got
kind of like a weirded out version of Kate Bush.
That's like Kate Bush meets like Grace Slick meets Jess from Jess and the Ancient Ones. And she at times, she's got like the long black hair. She was wearing like this red, like it looks like a tablecloth or a curtain. And she rides around the stage and falls on the floor. And she walks around sometimes with her hair in front of her face.
I was just gonna say, at times she was banging her head.
Yeah.
At one point, you turned to me when she had all her hair in her face, and you go, "Is that the little girl from The Ring?"
That's what
I laughed. It was very funny.
And she's up there screaming and chanting and all this kind of stuff. But the band is really bizarre because the music, you can't even really describe it. It's kind of like this weird, artsy, psychedelic, gothic, whatever.
Yeah.
There's no guitar player. You have a drummer, a violin player who you couldn't hear.
It was inaudible. You couldn't hear a thing from the violin.
She's up there doing stuff, but you can't hear anything. And the bass player also plays keyboards. But like on some of the songs where, you would think that are kind of heavy, he's playing like these big heavy chords on the bass. And I turned to you like numerous times. I'm like, this song isn't terrible. It's kind of heavy, but man, throw some heavy guitar riffs in there to make it kind of interesting, because the violin player's over there doing all this stuff and like you can't hear anything.
You can hear a thing. So it was basically vocals, bass, and drums. And that was it.
Yeah, that's it, with little keyboards here and there. And I thought, she's kind of interesting to look at and watch.
Yeah.
But would I ever go buy any of those albums? I don't know. Do they have albums? I don't know. I don't really know anything.
She did say something about an album, I think, coming out soon. Yeah. But I would have no interest. But she absolutely needs a good guitar player.
Yeah, it was just missing that. I think their music would be more interesting with that. But what do I know? And Black Rebel Motorcycle Club played second, and they went on like a little after 8. They played till like 9:20. So they played like about an hour and 15 minutes. And, we were, we knew what the set list for the cult was going to be. So we knew it was 13 songs. So we knew it wasn't going to be a long set for them. But like, really, they were very economical, the cult, as opposed to Black Rebel Motorcycle Club, who did a lot of talking in between songs, played a lot of long tunes that had some weird kind of psychedelic biker rock jamming and things like that. And they played a ton of songs.
And I was tired. A, I was tired, and B, I was not interested in Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. Despite what Jamie Laszlo says, I did not enjoy them at all, and I slept through a good chunk of it. The only good thing was when I woke up and they said, thank you, good night. I don't even know if they said that, but I know they walked off stage. I was like, oh, Jesus, thank God they're done.
I found probably about 3/4 of their set kind of boring and very kind of meat and potatoes, like power trio biker rock, but like kind of like modern sounding, kind of, it's like this weird mix of like Nirvana and like Steppenwolf and a few other things, that Monster Magnet, but not as good as any of them.
And they were a super low energy band. Like they just
kind of stood there,
I know I say it a lot, Pete, but to me, a live rock concert, man, I want movement. I want to see you sweating, giving your all. There was the drummer looked like a mom, like she looked like a soccer mom, and she was just flailing around. It looked like you or I, with no drum lessons, could play those drum beats. And there was a guitarist and a bassist, two skinny guys who both sang, and they both sounded exactly alike, and they both seemed like they didn't give a fuck. They just had such low energy. It seemed like their shoes were nailed to the stage. I was just like, wow, you guys suck. So
it may have just been us, because they see the crowd.
You're right. They absolutely did seem to have, some of their own fans.
Yeah. So, and I'm assuming they've got a bunch of albums, because they played a lot of material. They talked about they kept mentioning albums and things like that. This is from our last album. It's from our new album. This is from the first album. This is like, sorry, or whatever. But yeah, they didn't really click with me. The last 2 or 3 songs were, I think, their heaviest, and that kind of made me kind of pay attention a little bit. But an hour and 15 minutes for an opening band that are really unknown was way too long.
Way too long.
And if it would have been like 35, 40, 45 minutes, okay, they had a couple fun tunes, but for the most part, they didn't really do a lot for me.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah, but we finally got, literally, I think the cult went on at like 10 to 10.
Yeah, it was later than you and I anticipated, for sure.
Yeah, because
we didn't know the middle act was going to play that long. Who would have thunk?
And most of these venues, these theaters, they have 11.
They want to be closed for 11, yeah,
right.
Especially on a Sunday night.
And they went over by 4 or 5 minutes, because they started playing. The encore was Love Removal Machine, no surprise there, and they literally started playing that at like 10:58. And that's what, 4 minutes or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So and there was not a lot of discussion, on stage. I mean, Ian occasionally would do these little.
And with Ian Asbury, it's always strange banter. Like he's coming out and he's like some guy was wearing a football jersey from some, British soccer team, and he's like, well, what the fuck, man? You're wearing the Pardo Worcestershire Football League jersey. And then he's going on this rap, and he's like, well, be yourself, man. Just do it. Do whatever you want. And I'm like, well, which is it?
It was so contradictory, right?
You're making fun of the poor schmuck, or not? Or is it do whatever you fucking want? Smoke this. It's like, dude. And then, he did make fun of, which I didn't see the kid, but there was some kind of parents who had some kind of kids
right in the front of the stage, had their 2 younger kids with them.
Did you see the kids? I didn't see. I
did. I couldn't really tell from where we were sitting. I couldn't really tell how old they were, but you could see whether they were teenagers or like maybe 11, 12 or whatever.
Right.
But they were younger, obviously.
Yeah.
So he looked down. This was like early in the show. He looked
early in the set.
He goes, "Are you parents? Are those your children?" And then he goes, "Why are they not wearing earplugs?" It's like, what the fuck? He goes, be parents. They're still in development.
Yeah.
They're still developing. You're going to ruin them. And he totally went off on that.
He ripped them.
He walks away. He goes, goddamn parents.
It's like fucking parents or whatever. I was like, oh man. So yeah,
He must have
it's
felt
always
like shit after
it's
that.
always weird raps. And then he's like, well, who here goes to Yale? Because we're literally on College Street
Yeah.
in New Haven. And I guess nobody wanted to raise their hands at first. He's like, wait, nobody here is from Yale? And then a couple people raise their hands. He's like, oh, at least these people know how to read. I like to know how to read. Or
Yeah, I like
it
people.
really
Who,
is just
I like people who read.
strange, just the strangest stage raps. Like, what are you talking about? And then the other thing that you and I both found was weird was at one point, and I think it was towards the very end of the set. When he was taking off his wireless head, his wireless microphone setup, and he was passing it off. Billy Duffy just walks over and he hands Billy something. He goes, "Oh, Billy Duffy, everybody!" But then he didn't introduce the rest of the band at
Nobody
all.
else.
Nobody else. And now, and like I said to Pete, this having seen the Cult a lot, this was the first time I saw them as I believe, as a 5-piece because they had a keyboard player up there. I don't ever remember them having a keyboard player.
Yeah, and he was doing lots of backing vocals, but he was very much in the shadow most
pushed
of the
over.
time. Yeah. But I mean, good set list. An hour and 5-10 minutes. That's
they
really
did
all we got from them.
One new song off their forthcoming record.
Give Me Mercy.
Give Me Mercy, and he said the name of the record, something in the night, and they says it's coming out in October.
Good song. I think it sounded really good.
Yeah, I did. The first time I heard it, I didn't like it, but after listening to it a bunch more times, I did like it.
So we got Rise, Sun King, Automatic Blues, Sweet Soul Sister, Soul Asylum, which was great.
Yeah.
Might have been one of my favorite songs of the night. Edie, of course, Ciao Baby, Give Me Mercy, Wildflower, Firewoman, Chris's favorite song, Revolution.
I do love Rain, though. I'm glad we got Rain.
Rain was next. Yeah, that was really good. Then, of course, the last song of the set was She Sells Sanctuary. And of course, we joked about it on the Hudson Valley Squares, but we were sitting next to a couple, right? And the wife or the girlfriend, whatever, she was very kind of just sitting there the entire show. And then it wasn't until they played She Sells Sanctuary, and all of a sudden she got up, she's dancing around and singing, and then the encore was Lover Move Machine. She's up there and I'm like, wow, you just came to hear those two songs, I guess, right?
Yeah, funny.
But
it is funny.
Whatever, but cool place. This place reminded me of the Wellmont in New Jersey, in Montclair, New Jersey, quite a bit. Nice sound. The Cult sounded great, I thought.
Yeah, they did. Like I said, they are one of those bands. They're always, to me, fairly consistent. They always sound really good. Yeah. It's always loud, but not too loud. There's nothing worse than like a Slayer or a Motorhead who plays way louder than they should, and everything's distorted.
Yeah. No, this was good. You could hear everything, and Billy Duffy was on point the whole night.
Oh yeah,
I mean, he's just cranking out the riffs, a lot of great solos, and he just sounded great. He had the two Gibson Les Pauls, he had the one semi-hollow body, and it sounded really good. Ian sounded great the whole night. The rhythm section was really good. I mean,
and I was gonna say we don't know who exactly is in the rest of the band. I mean, I know a lot in recent years it was Chris Weiss on bass and John Tempesta on drums, but it could be different guys now for all I know. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And Ian didn't introduce him, so.
Didn't introduce anybody. Yeah. So very strange.
Yeah.
But all in all, a really good show. I'm glad I went because, like I said, I don't think I saw them in the 80s, but I could be wrong. But my old brain doesn't remember. But this, to me, this is the first time. So yeah. Glad I did it.
Yeah, it was a great show. I'm glad we were able to make it.
Yeah. So there you have it. The Cult, Zola Jesus and Black Rebel Motorcycle Club at College Street Music Hall in New Haven, Connecticut on the 24th of July. If you've seen the Cult on this tour, let us know what you thought of the show you saw. If it was the same, I'm assuming it was pretty much the same set list. If you're going to see them, I think you'll be in for a good show because they're in top form, despite the fact that they're not playing that long.
Yeah,
probably one of the shortest headline sets I think I've seen in quite a while.
Oh yeah, for sure. But, hey, I was tired, so I was like, all right.
Yeah, we were.
I don't mind missing those 4 extra songs. So that's an extra 20 minutes of sleep. So
yeah, I think yesterday it worked out okay. We actually we were both like about a minute into the encore. You want to get going? Yes. Yeah. So. And for the folks that we met who were fans of the channel who were at the show, good to meet you.
Shout out to Eric and whoever else.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah. So thanks for watching, everybody. This latest edition of our concert reviews. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. All together, all the damn time. For Chris Allo, I am Pete Pardo. Good night, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow with more stuff. We've got latest episode of favorite power trio bands, as well as In the Proxy tomorrow. So till then, have a good one. Bye-bye.